Hello, everyone. A wonderful, warm morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Zach, and today we are here to go over an overview of the ClubRunner district version. Today, I'm going to be your host. I'm Zach. I am one of the product specialists and product owner here at ClubRunner, and joining me today as my co-host, who's going to be handling Q&A and moderating all you in the chat, is Robin.
Hi, folks. Great to meet you all virtually.
Awesome. So I have a few housekeeping things just to go over for everyone before we get fully started here. So first and foremost, we do have a chat, and Robin will be in the chat. And if you guys please feel free to talk amongst yourself. If you have questions specific to the webinar, we would love you to put them in the Q&A box instead of the chat box. That way we'll be able to address them at the end of our session during our question and answer period. But otherwise, if you do have a question and you put it in the chat, Robin will do his best to either help address that, or if it's something that we can't address with the group, he'll do his best to reach out to you directly, either during the session if he can, or after, more than likely. Awesome. With all that said, let's go ahead and dive right into our agenda. So today we're going to be focusing on exploring the navigation of the district account and the dashboards that are available to the district, how you manage your clubs and their data, how you manage the district organization chart, creating and managing committees, sending emails out to everyone in the district, and reviewing the reports that are available in the district. Awesome. So give me just 1 second here to go ahead and switch everything around so that you guys can see my proper screen here and we can dive fully in and get started. All right. So we're going to start today at clubrunner.ca. So anyone who wants to log in now, we have a fantastic new universal login. So on the ClubRunner homepage, if you don't know specifically where your club or district account is, or you can't remember the address for any reason, you are able to use this login on our homepage. When you click login, you're brought to our new login screen. You can see here I've already pre-filled my login information because it's saved in my browser. And the best part of our new universal login is that it allows you to recover passwords from regardless of where your account is. And if you're a user who has multiple accounts over your district or club accounts, we handle all of those cases as well. So you can almost always recover your password through the system now. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going on that because I feel like I made a silly comment. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get logged in. One of the other really fantastic parts of the new universal login system is the fact that once you get logged in, it will land you on a new page asking you where you would like to go. But of course, right now, during our demo, it seems like it's running a little slow. So we'll give it just a minute. All right. Well, let me go ahead and hit stop here. Let me try and reload the page and see if it will show it to us. Always great to have technical issues right at the start of a webinar. So I apologize for this, folks. All right, we seem to be having a little bit of difficulties here. So I apologize. I'm not sure why I can't seem to use the not sure why I can't seem to be able to use our homepage login, which is really weird. Let me see if I can at least get logged in normally through the member login here on the individual account. All right, let's try one more avenue to see if we can't get ourselves logged in here. I'm going to do a little bit of cheating. All right, let's see if this will let me get logged in. So just so everybody knows, I did page our team about the issue that seems to be preventing ClubRunner from logging in there. Let me see. All right, I'm here. We'll log in one more time. There we go. I appreciate everybody's patience with me there. I'll do my best to show the universal login again at the end, but there does seem to be an issue with our portal pages right now, and I do apologize for the technical inconvenience. But I was able to get into the administrative area, so we are able to continue right on with our webinar, and I appreciate, again, everyone's patience with us. All right, so we have now landed in our administrative dashboard. And this is the landing page. Whenever you log into ClubRunner from, regardless of the universal login or the homepage for the district account, you will end up landing on the administrative welcome screen. The user that I am logged into today is a full administrative user. They have complete access to ClubRunner on this district account. So as I slowly scroll down on our page here to look over the different options on our administration screen, you can see that all of the links are lit up and active. If for any reason something was grayed out, that means that the user who is logged in is unable to access it. So our district dashboard, while has grown a lot, still operates the same as it always has. So users with less access see less parts of this screen, but today we are on a full administrative account. Before we go through all of the administrative features, I do also want to call attention to the members dashboard. So as an administrator, just like our club accounts, you can see exactly what a member sees when they log in. And in this case, because I'm an administrator, in addition to seeing what a standard member sees, I actually also see what a club officer sees. So this members page is the page that all users land on if they're not an administrator. They won't see this district administration tab, but they will have access to this welcome block, the 6 welcome icons here, and at the very least, what's new in the ClubRunner mobile app. I know that this user is also an administrator, but because of that, they get access to the club management tab. All of the club officers in the district also automatically receive access to this club management section when they are set as an officer on their under their club. So very quickly here, for regular members, they have quick links to go edit their profile, view their commitments and committees, look at any of the emails that have been sent to them through ClubRunner. And this is a really great thing to be aware of. I know for a lot of people, they're very zealous about keeping their inboxes clean. And, you know, hey, I forgot that email, or I deleted that email and I really needed it. You can go into the My Email History page. You could potentially find that email that was sent to you, and you could even resend it to yourself, which is a really nice feature of that My Email History page. Not only can you view all of your email, or in this case, the member themselves own email, you can also trigger to resend some of those emails to yourself if they didn't arrive because of a delivery error, or maybe you had just gotten rid of them. Additionally, you can jump into the club's information. You can search the member directory, which does allow every single member of the district to look up and locate other members of the district based on their own privacy controls, and access to the district's documents. For club officers, they have the things that I think everyone would expect a club officer has access to. They can go and manage their club information on top of viewing it. They have access to all their membership lists, be them the active members, the inactive members, or their other users. They have access to manage and update their club executives, report their attendance, and define who their attendance manager is. They also, for the purposes of integration for our Rotary customers, have access to all the integration settings. So whether or not they want to turn on Rotary integration and its current status, all of the archives that contain the logs of data sent to Rotary or received from Rotary, as well as our compare and synchronize tools for both members and executives. As an administrator, you have even more access to the account. So this again is what administrator sees, and just scrolling down the page, we have a couple different things here. So we have our welcome screen, which we can kind of glance past. We have this My Membership tab, which just like the Member tab has a whole bunch of useful information on it. Quick access to your commitments and email history, committees, district documents, and the member search. In fact, it's the exact same links that you have as an administrator. It's just a little bit more compact. We have our help section here, which sends you out to ClubRunner for different things like the webinars, knowledge base, our ClubRunner community, and how to contact support. We have a little what's new section here on the right-hand side. This changes throughout the year. When we're hosting the Changeover training session, we add this to the register. Once all of our videos are available and the series is over, it'll be replaced with a thank you for coming, and hey, you should come check out any of the sessions that you missed. Scrolling a little bit further down the page, we start to get into the meat of the account and the options that are available to it. So we have big categories that we pull everything under. So there's district management, which is something that we'll be talking about in a couple different ways today through the organization charts and committees. So managing your district's organization chart, who's the governor, who's the DGE, who's the DGN, so on and so forth. All of your committees that you're going to set up in the district, defining the positions that your clubs can manage, managing the types of clubs. So for example, if you have Rotaract clubs and you have regular clubs and you want to create satellite clubs, you can create those custom types and control whether or not they integrate with Rotary. For club and membership management, we're going to be talking about that a little bit as well, how you get to all the different clubs and manage their members. We have an administrative member search that completely bypasses all of the privacy settings. That way you can find the users that you need to. Clubs can define their own executives, and that's the list there so that you can go and jump executive to executive, and then you can also look at your club attendance reports. We do also have general reports. We have a new dashboard that we'll be talking about a little bit, our club and district activity reports. We have our e-directory reports and builder. We have download member data for exporting all of the membership in the district or specific subsets. And of course, lots of useful reports like size and growth, years of service to the club and Rotary, the age distribution of the district, the gender distribution of the district, and the login activity over the district. We also have our RI integration tools, which we covered a little bit for clubs, but it's the exact same set of tools here, except that amplified because you're a district administrator or you're an area governor and you have access to those tools. Lastly, we have our last two sections here, engagement and website management. Communication, I think, is pretty straightforward. It's how you're sending your emails, your email templates, and all of your traffic. It also allows you to manage any blocked emails on the account and send your bulletins and the bulletin send history as well. Of course, for events, we have our event planner. You can manage upcoming events for the club. So if a club has listed an event on the district's website that you don't want shown there, you usually have some control to stop that, but you have access to all of your event modules and of course, all of your website modules. So as an administrator, I have a full access to manage the whole website in addition to creating content. All right, let's also scroll up to the menu before we dive into a little bit more content. The dashboard is in a lot of ways a representation of the menus. This gives you a great launching point to get everywhere else into ClubRunner, but once you're already in ClubRunner somewhere else, it's not always useful to come back to the administrative screen. So we of course have navigation menus throughout the system. So the starting menu that you land on is the administrative menu, and it contains mostly some straightforward, maybe some boring things like general administration, the privacy policy, and some help articles and links for our account. We have a For Clubs tab. So this is that tab for your club executives. They get access to their membership list and managing their club executives, managing their club information, Rotary integration, and all of the tools that the clubs would expect to have access to. If your district is a subscriber to the grants module, the grants menu is here, allowing you to manage the grants if you're a grant administrator, submit grants if you're a qualified club, so on and so forth. Members have their own tab, and a lot of the links, again, are repeated. It's access to their profile and changing their password, their access to their committees, and their email history. For the membership, we start to see a lot more links because now we're starting to talk about administrative features, the district dashboard, club and membership, being able to manage your club types and club officers, searching through the district, managing member access rights and designations, requesting member updates, downloading member data, and some of our archives for Rotary International. In addition, we do have a nice tool to, if you ever have a user who no longer wants to be in your database, you can use this pseudo-anonymization tool and completely scramble their record, allowing you to keep a record that this user existed for a period of time in the club, but no longer keep their identifiable data, meaning that you don't have to worry about those ex-member records or someone even contacting them because they've been fully anonymized and there's no longer a way to contact them. Of course, districts have access to our contact system, which allows them to store non-member data. Organization management, so the district organization chart, which we're going to be talking about in a minute, and district committees. And again, we've re-talked about some of these things, but defining the club position types, actually defining who those positions are, and some of our e-directory builder features. For communication, once again, similar links, email services, bulletins, templates, etc. Website designer is also very similar. You can go to the designer home, you can go manage the homepage itself, stories and content, the image library, and the overall settings. Districts have a document library that allows them to store a bunch of documents that are available for everyone in the club and district. Reports across the board, same things that we've been talking about. Attendance, so for the districts that still are asking clubs to track attendance, we have a way for all of the clubs in the district to report their attendance. If a club is using ClubRunner and tracking their attendance through the club website, it is automatically reported to the district. It doesn't require any additional access. We have our event management for our event planner, event runner, calendar items, and cloud events, which are now available to all customers. Lastly, we have our bulletins area for managing bulletins and the Bulletin Live Designer, in addition to our donations. All right. With a somewhat full review of all of our menu tabs and our whole dashboard for both members and administrators, let's talk a little bit more about managing our club information. And we have two ways to get there right now. So I do want to look at all of the clubs and members that are on my district, and I can do that through the membership tab, clubs and membership on the gray bar below, or from here, I can scroll down and under clubs and membership management, click on clubs and membership. I think I'm zoomed in just a little too much there. Okay, zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that we are now in our support district. Since this is not a real district and these are not real Rotary clubs, we're unable to offer integration services because, well, we can only do that for real data for real clubs. But for a district, you can see which each of your clubs, whether or not they have integrated or not, and you'll also be able to dive into more information about them. So if you would like to manage their club executives, define their president, their secretary for the current, upcoming, or past years, manage their club information, update their logos, view their membership and users. Let's go ahead and dive into club info, which you can see brings us to this new club info page. It's been around for a while, but it's a newer club info page. And one of the really fantastic things here is that you, or me as an administrator, or you as an administrator, area governor, or membership editor, will have access to jump between the different clubs. So if you needed to check multiple clubs information, you can very quickly switch between the clubs, checking each of the club and making sure, you know, do they have a schedule? Do they have a meeting schedule in? Do they have their address and meeting comments in? Do they have GPS coordinates entered so that they show up on the district's map of clubs? From this club info page, we can also see our club executives as well, just as another way to view access. And of course, our Rotaract club has been a little negligent at filling in their executives for the current year. As an administrator, AG, or membership editor, we can fix that. All right. In addition to the club info, we can also look at individual clubs and membership. We can see all of the members in the club. We can see their club access levels, and I want to call out here very specifically, these access levels are only applicable if the club is a subscriber to ClubRunner and they are logged into the club website. Anytime any club members are using their district's website, their access comes from a different source. It's either assigned explicitly by the district through the manage access rights system, or they receive their permissions automatically by being appointed as a club executive. So when you make them a president, they get to manage their club. All right. So let's take a look at the district's organization chart and how we work with it to prepare it for the next year. So you can see that we are still in our 2023-24 Rotary year when we navigated into the organization chart, and we have this really fancy big blue button up here that will let us copy this organization chart over to the next year. And in addition to copying the actual organization chart, it will also copy all of the committees that we have into the next year as well. So instead of us going to the next year and manually, setting the governor isn't that bad, but re-adding all the district executives, re-adding all the district officers, not only their titles, but the people they're linked to, and then setting up all the areas and area governors manually, we really do want to use this carryover functionality to make sure that we populate next year's system exactly how it is now. Most importantly, for areas that you've when you set up an area, there's a list of clubs assigned to it. We've made the club assignment a lot nicer, but it still can be a little meticulous to go through and manually set that all up again. It's much easier to do a copy. And when you do this carryover copy, it's also carrying over all the committees the district has already set up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit carry over next year. It's going to ask me, are you sure? It's mostly just to make sure, did you really mean to do that? We're going to hit yes. We're going to know, we're going to see that we get a confirmation that it has been carried over. And when we navigate to the next year, we can see that all of the position titles and individuals in them have been populated. Additionally, if I go back to the previous year, you can now see that this carryover button is disabled because we've already carried over data to the new year. But in our new year, we can now go, and our district governor-elect was Leanne. So I can get into the dropdown, I can click edit, I can look up, let's see, where is Leanne? Leanne is in the Rotary Club of Christie. So we'll look at Christie, and then hopefully Leanne is right up at the top there. So Leanne is now our district governor. We want to update that and make that clear. We want it to move, we're going to clear Leanne out, and we're going to move Stanley up to Leanne's position because that's where they need to be. And they are in the Rotary Club of Lawrence. And it's Bushfield or Busfield. All right. We'll go ahead and make that change. Fantastic. And I'll go ahead and clear it. So as an administrator yourself, more than likely, you would know all the people that you're putting into all of these positions, and you'd work through them one at a time to make sure all of the right people were listed in their correct positions, updating any of your district executives, and updating any of your district officers and directors, and updating any of your area governors. So an additional thing to be aware of with the area governors is the organization of its clubs. You can dive in and look at the area information for an area governor. And in this case, we have Stesha, who is our area governor for Area 1. And you can see that it contains the Rotary clubs of Yorkdale, York, Wilson, and Victoria Park. If we had any clubs that were unassigned, we can see that in this drop-down list. So let's go ahead and add the Rotary Club of Finch to this area because it is not assigned to one of our areas. And if this area had any committees, we'd also be able to add and create the committees here. Moving back to our organization chart, we can also look at the clubs in the area. And again, we just added the Rotary Club of Finch to this area. And if we, more than likely, I would imagine that someone would be coming in and continuing to sign all the different clubs. So we'll go ahead and assign another club here to Area 2. And we repeat this ideally until all the clubs were assigned into all of their different areas. Fantastic. That, I think, takes across a lot of what we were covering in the organization chart. Something to mention here, every single user who is listed onto the organization chart receives basic communication access. So the district governor, in addition to everyone else here, all of the area governors, all of the officers, all of the directors, they get the basic communication access, which means that they can use the communication module and they can contact some of the pre-configured lists. We'll be talking about that more in depth later, but that is one of the automatic permissions that is given in ClubRunner for our district. So just one last time to really reinforce that, every single member listed on the organization chart gets automatic access to communication in the district. All right, so we are going to switch over to our committees. So once again, we're going to use the organization tab and use district committees. And you can see here, all of our committees have been carried over. Well, actually, they haven't been carried over because we're looking at last year. We're still in 23-24, and that's where we default. So I got a little ahead of myself. But when I click the next year tab, we can see that the same committees have been created here, and all of the users who were in them, which we can dive into in a minute, will be in there as well. The directors have changed because it's using the current organization chart to link those directors together. So if someone changed, like the district governor, well, that automatically updates whichever director. When you edit the individual committee, you can choose who its director is. You can make it private or not. Private means that committees can only be accessed by the members that are in the committee and administrators like myself. But if you make it private, people can see that the committee exists, but they won't be able to view the membership or any of the other documents or content that are inside of it. If we do dive into a committee, the district has the enhanced volunteers module, which will be coming to all customers with committees in ClubRunner Nova. But the district already has that functionality today. So in addition to being able to have your standard committees, the enhanced committee module that all districts also have is allows you to create subcommittees, store documents, and send emails. A nice functionality of the committee's email system is we have very recently, oh, no, never mind. I'm going to stop talking about that because it isn't here on this committee, and I don't know why. So I'm just going to keep moving along. You can continue to add new committee members to committees. So for this committee, I would be able to search just like everywhere else. I could grab a specific club. I would be able to select a member out of that club, and I can set them, I can give them a title that they hold in the committee, and then I can set their access. There are only 3 styles of access for committees. You're a member of the committee, you're just in it. You can use the email features. You can add and manage documents. Secretaries and administrators and chairs are all able to edit the committee. They can also create subcommittees. They can also send emails, and they can manage the membership of the committee. So let's add Crosher here as a secretary. I think I spelled that right. Go ahead and hit save. And we'll add Marley to here. So I know I just added Marley. Art is going to be the, we're just going to make them a member this year. And we'll go ahead and take away their title. So you'd be able to update these committees. And what's really nice is all of these committees are connected year to year, especially because we also use the carryover feature from the organization chart. So when we go back a year, we can see who made up the committee this year and the members that are in it, and we're able to observe the changes of the committees and report on them year to year. All right. Let's go ahead and dive into communication. So to switch into our communication module, I am going to use the communication tab, and then I'm going to use email services. Under email services, as an administrator, I do have some extra functionality. One, by default, I only see my own emails, and I only see the 500 most recent emails that I have sent. After 500 emails, we do hide them. It's to help make sure that when you land on this page, it performs really well. You can view all of your active emails, and you can view all of your own deleted emails. In addition to being able to view your own, you can, of course, switch to show all emails, and you would still have all of these options to you as an administrator. This is only an administrator option, so if I was just a member like the district governor and I didn't also have administrative access, I wouldn't get access to show all. It would just be that show all functionality. This dropdown is always present. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but all of the district officers on the organization chart will have access to the email services. So let's go ahead and hit compose new message so that we can take a look at the email interface. And from there, take a look at some of the different functionality emails offer us. So now I am logged in as an administrator, and I've been repeating that, and I want to keep repeating that because I definitely am seeing more groups than most of the standard users. So if I was a member on the organization chart and I didn't have additional access, a lot of these extra groups, such as active members, honorary members, and inactive members, are just not available to them. They do have access to the club's executives and directors for the current year and upcoming year. They have access to the district's executives, so everybody on the organization chart for the current and upcoming year. And they have access to contact groups and custom distribution lists if the club or sorry, not the club, if the district has created any of those. But otherwise, they just get access to the starting district, current and upcoming year district executives, current and upcoming year club executives, custom distribution lists, and contact groups. Administrators get full access to all of the membership list, active, active custom, and honorary. Now, I hear some people potentially saying, what does active custom mean? So some clubs will create custom membership types to house the many disparate types of members. So I know clubs, you obviously have regular clubs that just have their active and honorary members, but some clubs may have a satellite club or multiple satellite clubs. And they may also have things like corporate or satellite membership. I mentioned satellite, but some clubs have multiple satellite memberships. So when our team creates custom membership types, you're still able to contact them under active custom, and it's just one extra type of custom membership. In addition to the active custom membership. So really, if you're ever wanting to contact all of the members in the district who are the active membership, it is these two options. And I know in a future update, we're going to be harmonizing and improving some of these lists. So in the future, I would expect that just to be active members. Of course, you can contact inactive members across the board. We do not let anyone send emails to deceased members by default, so you can only contact the standard members. And of course, anyone in the inactive members list can still opt out of email, so that could definitely be reasons why you're unable to see them. So just taking a look and wanting to touch on access a little bit and why you might not be able to email someone, you can see here that I've checked the entire active membership group, and we have all of the different lists, and you can see that most of the clubs don't have a full count. If we click the expand button, we can see the list of users in this club, and for any of the users we're unable to check, if we leave our cursor over the box for a moment, it will tell us exactly why we are unable to contact them. Now, in this case, Candy does not have an email address, or if she does, something's wrong with it. And I have a feeling that's probably the case for a lot of these members. So to fix that, we could go into their profile, and if we knew their email address, we could add it. If we saw there was something wrong with their email address, like an invalid character, we could go ahead and change it. But this will always let you know why you can't select them, but you should assume that they're either opted out of the email type or they don't have that they don't have an email in their account. Touching on each one of our groups, so district executives current year, it's your district governor, it's all of the district executives, it's all of the officers and directors, all of your area governors, and all of your committee chairs. And just like before with the active member group, we can expand into that group and we can check the appropriate people. So that one only has one, but for example, if I only needed this to go to the governor-elect and the nominee who I can't email, I'd be able to select them here. I can also send it to the executive secretary, but maybe Aaron who's composing this email doesn't need to also receive it. The repeated group is for the upcoming year, giving you an option to contact not just the current year officers, but the upcoming year officers, and the same is true for the club. By default, we expose any of the users who, actually, this should be the entire district's officer list, and it is based on the positions that the district has configured. So we have the president, president-elect, executive secretary, secretary-treasurer, foundation chair, membership chair, board chair, and co-president. So again, if you clicked on expand, you'd be able to see any of the positions that we're matching and check to contact those users either individually or as a group. Just like we have club executives and directors for the current year, we also have the upcoming year. We have custom distribution lists. Custom distribution lists are a little bit older and something that will eventually be going away in the future, but it allows districts and clubs to create lists of membership that are specific to send email. So if you had a really specific group, that would be one way to do it, though I would probably recommend contacts over distribution lists because contact groups support both members and non-members. But yeah, I think that is a lot of the functionality. So again, you can dive into these sections. You can check or uncheck. You do not need to check all of them. So you can check all and then uncheck them. And you will see that when you have only a selection of the available options, it turns into this half mark, letting you know that you've selected some, but not all of the options in that area. The last thing I just want to talk about with sending emails is that ClubRunner has what's called deduplication. So if I check every single group in this email isn't going to actually go to however many number of people this counts out if there's any users that are repeated in any of this list. So by selecting most of the active membership, there's a really good chance that these users were going to be included multiple times. But what happens is when we go to process the email, for any email addresses that are listed multiple times, we do just drop them from the list and only one email will be sent. I probably wouldn't suggest this combination for most customers to select this many groups, but it's there if you need it. And the great part is you won't get duplicate emails. So it doesn't matter that Xenos, for example, here, who is our current year governor, is mentioned, like they're going to be in the governor list. They might be in next year's officer list. For all we know, they're an officer for their club in some capacity. Maybe they're a chair or a committee member, and they're obviously in the active members list, and they might even be in that contact group. So it doesn't matter how many times Xeon was included in here, he'll only get one email. Moving along, once you're done selecting your recipients, or if you want to come back to that later, you can hide it, giving yourself a little bit more space to work. Go ahead and slide that back open. And now we're kind of into a standard composition of an email. We can put our subject. Take a moment to do some self-promotion here. So we can go ahead and put in our subject, which leads us into templates and merge fields. And I'm going to be very straightforward with everyone here. In a lot of cases, you can probably walk right past this section and not question it again, but I want to cover it just so everybody knows it. But I would say for a lot of our day-to-day users, they don't usually use too many templates or merge fields unless they're a little bit more of a power user. And that's not to say that you can't use them, just based on how I understand users use the system. So there are templates, and we don't have any system templates for the standard email system, but the clubs and districts are able to create their own templates. So if there's an email format that you want to regularly replicate, you can go and turn that into a template. And then every time you went to come and create a new email and you were sending out that same content or copy, you would be able to reuse that template and insert it, and it would replace the entire content of my message here below. We have the recipient. So these are, so the first thing we were looking at, I apologize there, is we were looking at templates. In addition to templates, we also have merge fields. So you can actually see two merge fields down below. This is a recipient merge field. So we are sending an email that is dear nickname, last name. Now for Aaron here, if he doesn't have a nickname, it's just going to show up as Dear Aaron Aronson. That's exactly how his name comes out. So when it goes into the email, we would see that exact same. So it basically end up becoming. So each user who gets the email, it's personalized for them. Now, of course, if you don't want to use the nickname, like I mentioned, if there is a nickname, it'll use that. If it's not, it always falls back to the first name. But if you don't want to use those merge fields, you can, of course, delete this and say, dear district members, or whatever is appropriate for you guys, whatever makes the most sense, whatever makes you guys happy. So under recipient, though, so these are the users receiving the email. We have the title, first name, nickname, middle name, last name, their suffix, their Rotary member ID if they are a Rotarian in the district, the club full or short name, and their spouse's name if any of that spouse's first, last, and nickname are entered into the system. There is also sender merge fields and account merge fields. So in this case, I, Aaron Aronson, am the sender in this case, so it would be my sender's first name, nickname, middle name. We can also include the club name, full or short. Lastly, we have the account. So this is the district's account, and we have a handful of different merge fields here that are just generally useful. We have the full account name for the district's account homepage, its address, its portal logos, which is some new functionality starting to pop up in the system, as well as the whole address of the district. So if I wanted to just use everyone's first name, I could come in here, get recipient first name, and it will be dear first name. And every user who receives this on our list will have that customized to their first name. So sorry, I shouldn't say Xenos. Xenos is their name. Sometimes I forget which the order is, but Xenos is their first name. So it would say dear Xenos in Xenos's case. And as we go through each of the users, dear Aaron, dear Stanley, dear Farah, dear Darren. In addition to the merge fields, we do have a bunch of functionality with our toolbar. I don't have time to cover all of that today, but just to kind of reassure you, we do have very quick ways to link to all the content in ClubRunner. So if you needed to link to the district's homepage, download files, event calendar, it's really easy to insert those links. You can also upload and insert images into ClubRunner, and we have some pre-made templates to help, again, with writing your emails. If you're a very fancy individual and you are an HTML guru, you can, of course, switch into the HTML mode. I would definitely recommend caution with emails, though, as emails aren't always the same as an actual web page, but if you know how to get up to some shenanigans in there, that opportunity is open to you. Lastly, moving down into some additional options here for our emails, we can attach files. So I know right now it's 5 megabytes per file with a total of 6 megabytes for all the attachments, but I believe we are planning to increase this in the near future, so look forward to that. You can attach, for the most part, any type of files that you want. Now, if there is a file that's a little too big, let's say it's 10 megabytes right now, you as a district would be able to upload that to either your document library or your downloads file and get past that, the 6 megabyte limit. You can take up to 15 megabytes for files in the downloads files and documents sections. All right, so in addition to being able to include attachments as you would expect, you can include a link of recipients. So this will include a full list of recipients with their name and some of their information and is available to anyone who receives the email. You can also make sure you send a copy of this email to yourself. So for some reason, if you weren't in any of these distribution lists, in any of these checkboxes, for whatever reason, you can still make sure you send yourself a copy. Lastly, you can schedule the email. So if you send it right now, obviously, we basically start processing it and dispatch it immediately, and it starts going. If you schedule it, the most important thing about scheduling to be aware of is this is the time it starts to send out, not the time it arrives at. So for example, if I wanted this email to go out Friday morning, and I wanted to go out a little bit earlier in the day, let's say I wanted to go out for 8 a.m. If there was something critical that users really needed to see before 8 a.m., I would suggest sending it even earlier. But again, the most important thing is that at the time that you choose and date, it starts to send. And as soon as we schedule the email, the list of all the recipients is fixed. Now, if someone opts out from the email or they get terminated and they go into like a duplicate member status or a deceased status, they should get dropped from the list. But otherwise, no one new gets added to the scheduled email list. And only if someone specifically is no longer an eligible target will they be dropped. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send because this will schedule. And you can see it's going to go to 903 recipients. I'll go ahead and click OK. And let's go ahead very quickly and send out a little bit shorter email just to some of our club executives. Let's just pick our presidents so we can take a look at some stats. Oh. So we'll do really quickly a little bit more self-promotion. I hope that's okay with everybody. It really helps if I can type. let's make sure that this is a link as well. Fantastic. So we'll go ahead and hit send. This is going to go out to a much smaller group of recipients. It's currently queued. Let me see if I can hit the email services page again. It's sending in progress. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Now, I don't think we're going to have full stats yet because the email is still being processed, but I did want to touch on some of the stats for the email. Go ahead and reload this again. So our emails have gone out. So you can see at the very least, if anyone has opened the email, how many emails it was successfully delivered to, and if you had any delivery errors. For example, it was bounced, it was blocked, it was a bad email address. Now we do have nice little help icons for everything on the account here. And for some reason, our account doesn't have link tracking currently enabled on it. But for most of our customers, link tracking is enabled, and that is something that you would be able to get more insight on and view the links that you sent to them. Now, in addition to being able to view the general stats, you have a couple extra options on the email stats page, and I like to call these out because not everybody knows that they're there. One, you can preview the email on how it arrived to them. So in this case, you can see here, Louisa Dancy is their name. That was our merge fields. You can see that they got the clubrunner.com training link, and this was the email exactly as how it arrived to them. Now, for some reason, if this had said it was it had bounced or blocked, and we went and dealt with the issue for Louisa, we could resend it to them. But additionally, Louisa or us, we can use this resend option, and we can actually resend them this exact same email. And of course, the second time I run into an issue. All right, let's go ahead and refresh and see if we can get that to work. Resend. That's really weird that it's hanging like that. I will have to look into that with our team. I do apologize for that, folks. All right, let's keep going here. So the last section that we really want to take a look at here today is our reporting service. And actually the thing that I am the most excited to show off today is our district activity report. So if you haven't seen this lately, or you haven't seen the district activity report before, the district activity report is fairly new. It came out a little bit earlier this year, and it is a roll-up report of the same report that's available for our clubs, but at the district level. And it is also replacing our standard or our older district activity or our district dashboard. So the district dashboard is going to be going away to be replaced with our new district report, assuming it wants to load for me. So it did load here. Awesome. Can we get a refresh for the district? No, we can't. Oh, we're looking at next year. That is probably why we don't have any data yet. Oh, no. May I please have some data? I am very much not sure why it is not showing any data on this account, and I seem to have run into a comedy of errors today. I at least can show you an individual club report. From the club report, we'll try and take a look at the areas too, but this is the data that you'd be able to see for the district, or that you should be able to see for the districts on your own account, and you'd be able to see their history of membership and year to year. So let's try and look at the next year for Kipling as well. And you can see here in 23-24, we've had a much better status. You can see that the club started at 27 members at the beginning of the year, and they have grown all the way up to 30 members, growing 3 members by the end of May. So they'd say they're making pretty good progress. Looks like they haven't terminated any members yet. Oh, no, they have. So they're on, I would say they're on really good track for their year. So they've overcome their standard potential loss of membership, where we know that the club on average is going to lose 10% of their members on year. In this case, they actually got closer to 10-15% of their members they lost, but they were able to counteract that by bringing in 7 new members this year. And from the club overview, we can get a lot of insight into the club, especially if they're a subscriber. We can see the count of members at the start and the to the current year, we can see how many participation points that the club has earned as a whole. Participation points for clubs are something that they configure, and it's when members participate in things, are members of, are in committees, sign up for events and volunteer, they get those participation points. So from the previous year, the club's participation and engagement has gone up pretty significantly. We can see that the average attendance for the club is only 46% in this year. We can see that the average or medium age, or the average age is 46 and the median age is 48. Some statistic course is telling me, I know there's a difference between the two of those, but I don't remember off the top of my head right now. And they had a total of 9 events. We can see that the club only had 2 meetings last year, so they probably were a little negligent putting in some of their attendance history this year, but we also get good insight into their age brackets and demographics. So we can see that this club has some unreported members for ages. They don't have a birthday in. We can see our gender distribution here of the club is mostly male, at least reported. There is a 6% female, and 20% of the members prefer not to identify. We can see their club executives, any of the designations how many designations the club has in general, and all of the events that they had during the year, and if they had any attendees or not, and any of the revenue that they generated for some of those events. Scrolling back up, hopefully we can take a look at one of our areas here and get a similar roll-up of the data. Let's see. I don't remember which area Kipling is in. Though I absolutely assure you, this data looks a lot better in a real district with clubs and activity, and I apologize that I apparently did not get the data regenerated in time for this event. Yeah. Let's try and take a look at 21-22 and see if we can get anything else. No, I don't have anything for the report, so I really apologize. I was really looking forward to showing that off. In addition to the district's activity report, though, we also have an individual member activity report, which lets you really dive into how individual members are doing, and you do have access to the membership across the entire district. So you can pick, I'm going to stay on Kipling here, I'm going to stay on Aaron, and you can see that this is for his current year, and you can see the data about him. How many points that he's contributed to the club compared to the last period, his membership information, his profile. It's kind of like a mega profile overview for a member and a little bit of a roundup on statistics. So a good way for the district to like, hey, who are the mover and shakers in the club? And you do get access to the full district, the full club membership per club. Some other nice reports that we have access to is our years of service. This is a roundup of across the entire district of years of service and how long their members have been in there. We also have, you can report by area instead of by year if you would like, or by, for the whole district, or you can of course drill down to individual clubs. We will continue to use the Kipling Club as our best example there. It updated that fast. Wow, okay, I didn't even see my browser refresh there. And you can also see the date joined Rotary versus the date joined club if you're looking for the differences in those demographics. We also, just like years of service, we have age distribution giving you insight into the average age of the district. And you can see that our district is doing pretty good here where we could probably use a lot of new members, but our eldest members right now are in the 50 to 59 with just a small percentage of users underreported. In addition to unreported, you can dive into any of these groups. So if you wanted to go and say, hi, new members, or who are you that fit into this criteria, you can click view and it will dive you into that list, giving you more insight into the users who will meet those criteria. You can also export contact and information about these users. In addition to age, we have gender distribution, so knowing overall where the distribution, and it looks like our district is heavily unknown. Of course, you can still report by area and by club as well. Login activity report is great for checking a handful of different things, but it's really just good for knowing, like, are people engaging and being active in the district? As a district administrator or district staff member, it can also be really useful for you for troubleshooting. A question that we get a lot, and at least until we had the universal login and it's starting to go down a little bit more, is that hey, I logged into my club, but I totally don't have all the tools that I'm supposed to have. You could come to the district report, you could pull up your specific club, you could say, you could update it, and you could see that, hey, yeah, I see that you logged into the district yesterday, not your club. And if we update the results for the club login, hopefully Russell is not there. There we go. So you can actually see that Miguela here has logged into the club, but hasn't logged into the district. So that's still a useful, like it's useful diagnostically, at least to our team, to go, oh, hey, yeah, we see that you're logging into the district and you don't have your club tools. That's because you are logging into your district. So in this case, if we could see the difference between them logging into the club or the district, we'd be able to give them better insight or redirect them to a better place to get logged in. I think that concludes by far our administrative overview of the district for officers and district executives. So I think we are now ready to go into Q&A. So Robin, I'm going to hand it off to you for any questions we got ready to go.
Perfect. Thanks, Zach. So a comment. I'm just going to start off with some of the more common questions we had. The first one that was posted a couple times. Folks, just so you're aware, if you register that you're attending for a webinar in the next few days and you're unable to attend, not a problem at all. We will be posting all of them for all of you to review at your own pace, at your own leisure. So if you're unable to make it, not a problem at all. You'll be able to review them at your own time after the fact. Another thing that had come up as well, the district and club access rights are not the same. We did have a few people ask, oh, if I change to a 70 on district, will that give them access? No, there's they're very distinct and different levels. So at district, it's called district access rights. Whereas at club level, you just go, then at club level, it's access level. So you go from level 30, which is a site admin, down to the level 70, which is the general member queue. And yes, perfect. Zach just pulled it up here. So similar to, or if you're at club level, you go to another account, or you go to the member's profile, go to the set privacy, and then you can change their access level. Exactly, just like that. So in here, you would just click edit and change the access levels. So
well, to comment on that slightly, districts can't manage club members' access levels, and that's why whenever if you try, you're completely unable to, because it's not how access is controlled by the district. And additionally, just to reinforce this, it's only valid for the club when they're a subscriber and they are logged into the club website. Aaron here is only an administrator at the district because he has been explicitly assigned as an administrator to the district, not because he is a club administrator. Just to really kind of hopefully put a nail in that.
Perfect. Great point, Zach. So yes, if you ever have any questions of, oh, I need somebody to be able to do something specific at district level, feel free to reach out to us. We can provide assistance, and we'll confirm for you what access right specifically they would need.
Yeah, just to add on to that, we do have a bunch of good articles on clubrunnersupport.com that cover the district access rights, how to assign them and what they do. But just like Robin said, if you're ever in doubt or you just don't know, reach out to our team. We are absolutely here to help you.
Perfect. And another common question that came up is the district and club login. So if your club is a subscriber to ClubRunner, they'll have their own specific club login as well, and they can also log into district level. If you don't have your own, if your club doesn't have their own subscription, they'll just log into the district at the district level, and you can still administrate your club through the district.
Yeah, I think I didn't see the question, but I want to add one clarifying point there, is that it is the same login information. It doesn't matter if you access the club or you access the district, or for some of our customers, even if you access the zone. Your login information is the same for that record at every single step of the way. And most importantly, I tried to show it off at the beginning of the webinar, the login on clubrunner.ca, you can use that. And now that it is working, what you can see here is when you log in through clubrunner.ca on our homepage, you will always get a choice to go to the account that you want to.
Perfect. Thanks, Zach. Something that actually came up that I thought was interesting that I actually might have a bit confused on my part was with the merge fields. For example, if the nickname field is unavailable, will it pull in any other? Is there like an order of operations where it'll pull in?
Yes, actually. So when you use the nickname field, if for some reason the member does not have a nickname, it will fall back to the member's first name. So the nickname field is a totally safe field to use. We specifically have a fallback case for that. There shouldn't ever be a user without a first name, so there's no fallback case for that field. But for the nickname field, if there's nothing there, it switches to first name. Otherwise, I guess just to answer a second question, if there's no data for a merge field, it simply remains blank. So instead of it being there, it'll just be a space.
Perfect. So that was actually the end of the questions. There were, I do have some folks that did ask some questions that weren't specific to the webinar that I'll reach out to. I believe it's Pooja. I won't just name them all off. But, one thing that I also mentioned as well is Camilla actually, Belushian, actually want to give you a shout out as well, Zach. Regardless of the technical difficulties, you stay poised and positive. So bravo.
Absolutely. So I know since we don't have a ton of questions, I do want to cover a couple quick things that I know in the past sometimes administrators access. So one thing is if you're ever trying to figure out who all has access, and I know this is something that we're working on improving in the future. So when you go to a list of users' access rights, so for Aaron here, if I want to find all of the other administrators on the account, I can use this list function, and it will give us every single other administrator. So, you know, hey, if Dario Finlanson should no longer be an administrator, I can go ahead and take that away from him, hit save, and I've now taken away his permission, or I've taken away his administrator permission. So they will be a little bit less well off the next time that they log in. They'll have a little bit less access rights. Yeah. I think that's one of the things that comes up a lot. One of the other questions, and I know that the support team hears a lot, specifically about co-positions. So something I just want to touch on. Right now, co-positions are still a little contentious. At Rotary, you can only have a single person in for a period of time. So John can serve the first 6 months if it's a co-position. Sarah can serve the second 6 months if it's a co-position, but only one person can be reported to Rotary at a time. Though something new that our team did just find out is you can delegate access at My Rotary to other members. So if you have 2 co-presidents, you can work to delegate access. How you do that, I'm going to point you to the My Rotary team for more help on delegating access at My Rotary. But if you do delegate access at My Rotary, it gives another user similar access to the same as. So for example, if you had a president and someone was assisting them and they needed to have them, but they're not on your board, you can work with the My Rotary team to delegate access to other members. I wanted to mention that because we just found out about it, and it was a really cool feature that helped, at least it's helped a couple clubs that I know of. Yeah, awesome. So I think that is everything.
Yep, I think yeah, no more questions. Did anybody have speak now, forever hold your peace sort of thing? If anything comes in.
All right then. So with all of that said, thank you everyone so much for attending our session today. I'm going to close out with some standard more housekeeping here. Once again, thank you so much everyone for joining us today and spending your time with us. I hope that the information we were able to provide you was really helpful and will be helpful in the future. Importantly, you can get in touch with us by emailing support, SUPPORT, or sales, SALES, at clubrunner.ca. Our community is available for all members of our platform at clubrunnercommunity.com, and our ClubRunner mobile app is available at clubrunner.com/mobile. In addition to those resources, you can always find news, updates, help articles, and announcements coming from our team at clubrunnersupport.com. That is available to every single member of your club or district who can log in. Every single user who accesses ClubRunner and has an account in our system is eligible for support, and they're really please, I would encourage you to use it. Whatever their access is, if they're a standard member and they don't have any extra permissions, we'll simply help them get logged in. And even if they're asking about things they can't necessarily do, we'll try and give them the right information so that they, when they receive that access, they could, or pass that information along, and we'll tell them who they can get in touch with to make those changes or help them with that. So I just really want to reemphasize our support, our team, myself and Robin, and the rest of our team are here to help you guys whenever you need assistance. So if you're struggling with something in ClubRunner, you've spent a couple minutes and you don't seem to be making progress, please stop what you're doing, send us an email, give us a phone call, let us help you so that you can have a little bit more frustration-free experience. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at all the rest of the upcoming sessions.